Hey folks, wanted to give a quick review of the Tudor Pelagos. I've owned this for a few weeks now and I've really enjoyed wearing this. Previous to it I've had the Longines Hydro Conquest in 39mm and a 41mm Halios Tropic SS. Both of those were in blue and both of those did used to get more looks and sort of comments based on the fact that they stand out more and sort of it's more easily visible. But I think personally I prefer wearing this. It feels more like a tool watch. It doesn't stand out, there's no showy shiny bits on it. Everything has a function, every design aspect has a sort of a machine-like tool approach to it, and that appeals to me. I'm wearing a Time Factors NATO on it at the moment. They've got their new buckles which I really like, and I think it goes well with the aesthetic of the Pelagos itself. I do wear the bracelet. One of the big selling points of this watch is this amazing clasp on the bracelet, on the titanium bracelet even, for formal stuff, and if there's an important meeting or something like that at work, I'll wear that. But other than that, I switch between the rubber strap, which also comes with the watch, a black Maritac, and the dark grey Time Factors NATO. I've also got an olive one on the way. I've seen a few online pictures of the olive with a black dialed watch, and I think that looks pretty cool. It's much lighter than my previous watches, and sometimes you can't even tell it's there. I think that's quite important with a watch of this size anyway. You don't want something sort of constantly flopping about. Accuracy wise, I've found my one on day one, it was about, first week or so, it was about 8 seconds ahead. I think that's slowly creeping down now. When I had the Hydro Conquest, that was about 6 seconds ahead per day. By the time I sold it, which was just over a year later, 2 years even later, it was 1 to 2 seconds ahead. So I'm fully expecting this to be probably not as close, well maybe, but it's going to need a few months at least to see where things go. Both watches obviously use the same movement, ETA 2824-2, and I really have no problem with that movement at all. Things I like about the Pelagos: the loom is amazing. Just stepping outside for a few minutes, coming back indoors to a dim area or something like that, you can see the loom. It's blue and it does glow really nicely. I'll see if you can maybe just about see some of that. Haven't been outside sort of for a while today, but you get the idea. The bezel click, it's got a nice feedback to it, nice noise to it, and when you get the 0 point back to the 12 mark, there is a you can feel a more dominant click to it, and it locks in place, so you don't overshoot, which is a nice feature. I've not seen that on other divers before. The lugs are more flat than what I'm used to. I initially thought that the watch wouldn't wrap around my wrists as it does, but it wears a lot smaller than the size would otherwise suggest. Ultimately, I can definitely recommend this watch if you're the kind of person who wants a tool diver, but you don't want something that's too showy or too out there. I think this is about as tool as it can get in this price range. Sure, you can get a lot cheaper watches which have their own unique aesthetic about them, and that's all great. Everyone has their own preference, but for me, I wanted something that was like this, with a ceramic bezel, matte dial, and discreet sort of feel and look to it, and Pelagos seems to do that quite well.